Great. Yeah, so you look at your lazy think. Ah. There we go. Alright. Set this up a little bit and all that. Hopefully I feel a little better, but probably not. There we go. Oh, shit. No. No. Oh, man, oh, man. Ugh. I'm definitely not Wahundo right now. Even though it feels like I should be kind of better. But alas, nope. Ugh. I definitely don't know what I got, but I definitely got something with my throat because it is just definitely no bueno. This morning when I woke up, I just straight up was like fucking coughing like intensely and immensely and shit, like pretty badly. But luckily it was just only like when I woke up. After that, it didn't happen again. But so it's just sore throat now and all that bullshit. And it's just like ugh. Now I've just been like kind of in a funk all day of it because of it. Well, hopefully at least this will kind of distract me from some of that and make me feel a little better. Blah, blah. There we go. Ugh, man, my fucking nose has just been acting up. One side wants to be runny, and then the other side wants to be stuffy. But now it's just like runny and stuffy. Ugh, fucking sucks. Nice. Not so bad in the throat like I thought it'd be. Ugh. There's something behind this. Quits doing that. There we go. There we go. Now just let the ball roll. You two are really lazy today. Oh my good lord. You lazy stretch bean. My goodness. What a goof boy. You know, it's kind of like the first time you were moving around there, dude. Be a sleepy bee. That's such a lazy dog. Looking like a little flop. Well, but what'd be going on for the world? All that shit. All that fun stuff. I know at least some of the news and stuff I was looking up today definitely wasn't exactly pleasing. Though, to be fair, it's usual bullshit, I suppose. Right? What are you doing over there? Why'd you just like smoosh your face in between the cushions? Try to make like a little valley to rest your head in? Goof. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, good lord. That's probably going to be a reoccurrence. Just these fucking sniffles. Ugh. Trying to think what I could have got. Like, where I could have gotten like this whole like sniffly sore throat shit. Because my only thing I can think of is just like literally because I've just been running around a lot in the past like week or so. So maybe I caught it from somebody, probably on the bus or some shit. Ugh. Definitely is really, really shitty. Aw, you are such a goof. The fuck is this? Shows her boobies? I'm not a woman. I can't can't exactly show off that, if I don't have any. Huh? Froggy? Yeah. Honestly, it's just how I am today. Not even because of anything last night. Just because, like, I caught something. So now I just have, like, a sore throat and fucking sniffles shit. And just, like, body soreness. Just kind of typical cold shit, I guess. But it's not really severe. It's definitely enough for me to want to rest today, though. Which, at least I'm feeling better, but I'm still just kind of like, ugh. Dog or a cat? I'm a human being? Unless you're talking about, like, my name, ignore Husky. Which at that point would be a dog, I guess. Because Huskies would be a dog breed. Oh my god, his fucking nose broke. Ugh. Well, Scott, put them little circle batteries out. What? You heard them, you slut. With Froggy? Or The only thing that makes me remind me of that is just Frogger, the game, classic game too. So it's for the boys cream team or squad. Um, that's such a random fucking thing. Why do you have to choose? Real enlightened people say, there is no like absolute like, you know, one or the other. Why not a little both? Hmm? Sometimes a little cream, creates a little squirtage. Sometimes you need one for the other. Hmm? Ever thought about that? Namaste, brother. Okay. All right, listen, got you. Got him. The true enlightened philosophy. Or the secret fourth option, slash, I guess, fifth or sixth options, is he adding to deep, like, insertions. You know what I'm saying? You're in so deep. And, you bust, but it's just so deep in there, it don't come back out. But if you do that enough, eventually it will. And sometimes, especially in those circumstances, might be a little shortage. So thus, it's like, there's that secret option where it's like, things get, just tense enough where it's like, nah, we ain't just doing regular stuff. I make sure I'm in as far as I can get. They truffle butter when dry, sad times. Truffle butter. So need that little. Kind of get a little extra light on me, I think. That kind of helped. Here, let's see if I put the brightness on it. It weirdly kind of helps, but like it also darkens everything else that I'm wearing. It like lit my face up, but nothing else. It darkened it. It darkened it. Okay, whatever. Let's right off the bat, super also family friendly topic. Just right off the bat, Never had truffles and feel like they're overhyped. They're just mushrooms. Like truffles are basically just like a expensive like mushroom for culinary, and it's basically like because essentially truffles like they have their own little unique flavor, but they're also like mega super flavor absorbers. So that's why especially for like certain dishes they're more sought out after versus like other mushrooms usually, especially like when it comes to like I know for sure like some pastries or like some more savory dishes it's usually there to complement like other dishes that have like some strong flavor to it, like a savory or a tart or sweetness or something to complement it. Like, I mean, are they overhyped? Probably, but I've never, I've like, well, that's not true. I've had them before, but I just never knew what they were up until like relatively recently, actually. And I mean, they're not bad, but it's they're yeah. I mean, as far as I care, they're pretty much like just an addition just to like absorb and like enhance flavors, But most mushrooms are like that anyway. Because they're relatively easy to work with in cooking. Like it's really hard to like, burn mushrooms or like overcook them or even really undercook them. Like it's really hard to fuck up mushrooms if you're cooking them. That doesn't mean all of them, but for most of them, like chances are it's damn near impossible to fuck them up. Unless you just somehow fucked up the dish in a different way. Then they will be fucked up. But at least, if not, then they're just going to complement what you made. Now, personally, I will say I'm not the biggest fan of mushrooms because of the texture of them, for the most part. Like, it's not even really the flavors of them or anything. It's just like a really weird texture that I noticed. I'm just like, ugh. Like, like when it comes to food, I'm definitely like kind of somewhat texture sensitive, with it. But I mean, so it, like, but if it's not there predominantly, like if I take a bite and I notice it, I'm like, ugh. And then I just like chew some other shit, like it's whatever, it'll go down the gullet. But if it's like those like half cut and it's like, like kind of like a fucking side view of a mushroom kind of thing, like where they're not like full on diced out or minced or anything, then I'm not gonna really like them, and I'm gonna probably unironically just pick those and put them to the side and let somebody else have them for extra mushrooms on their dish or something. And again, it's not even really like the flavor aspect, just texture. And honestly, for a lot of cheeses and like that's kind of the same thing too. It's not really the flavors of a lot of cheeses; it's like the textures of them. But like those crumbly, like type of cheeses, like from Parmesan, like cheese wheels, like real cheddar, stuff like that. That's the shit I fucking love. Like, cause it's just a really nice texture. It's crumbly. It's hard. And it's got good flavor to it. But when it comes to like more creamier cheeses, like or like cheddars we're usually that we are familiar with, like sharp cheddar, whatever, mild cheddar, or Swiss and stuff. Honestly, I just don't like Swiss. Period. I just don't like the flavor, texture, or anything about that. But I do at least like some things about cheese. But my friends always give me shit because I usually will unironically kind of go out of my way to avoid cheese on a lot of dishes because it's not the type of cheese I like. Even when it's melted down, it usually isn't like great because now it's just like that same texture, but now it's just goopy. Usually. Now, like that like creamy queso stuff, like if you have some nacho dip and you got some of that like creamy queso, that's fine. Um, like one nice thin like cheddar slice on a burger, whatever, pizza, big like not big deal. Fucking mac and cheese. Like obviously, there's plenty of very 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 cheesy dishes, and I'm just like, oh hell yeah, oh fuck yeah, I'll eat the shit out of it. But it's just selective, mostly because of that texture aspect things. Blue cheese apple pizza with nuts. Are you trying to like get a war crime? Because I will immediately charge you with war crimes right the fuck now, just without even a second thought. It's just chatting today. Yeah, I was doing some Streamlabs tests yesterday, but I'm just not feeling 100% today, or else I'd say fucking and do it too. But figured I'd just kind of take it a little easier today. Do another little like react kind of check some things out for Friday, or Thursday for tomorrow. Well, no way, it is Friday tomorrow. Okay, now my brain's just fucked up on dates, but at least for Friday too. Plus, we can probably even catch onion nuggets while they're alive too, potentially. Spend that money and I'll take one with you. Well, of course. I already have one ready to go anyway. Though yesterday I did try to do some reacts, but I'm not gonna lie, I ended up just going on stun locks and tangents, and we barely really reacted to the one video that we watched. It was an hour-long one, but we barely got like 10 minutes into the fucking thing. Because we just end up talking about other shit because of the main gist from the video. But we never really got to the actual meat and potatoes, of the content of that video, but we made our own meat and potatoes out of it, though. What are you doing, Jazzy? Goofy girl. Beetle. Good little Vito. I think I want to at least, when I do reacts too, I want to at least try to set a little bit of a rule for myself. Because I've noticed that there are still some weird little quirks of Streamlabs at least. So, like, at least with this fucking pop-up that keeps popping up over time. Like, Rose knows. I mean, and the VOD is up. So it's like, later down the line, eventually, at least when it's split screen with YouTube being up, it just keeps popping up this fucking notification thing over and over again, despite everything else being fine and working. So there should literally be no reason why there's a pop-up, but yet it would literally constantly doing it. And eventually I just said, fuck it, and just kind of went with it. But I want to see if I can at least, figure out how to make that just not happen. Just period. I did look at like every little like broader detail with Streamlabs, at least as the app, with the settings and shit. And I didn't see anything, but maybe I just overlooked it. So I'll just have to like look online and maybe see if other people had similar problems and are able, to have at least some way to solve it. So, but at least, like I said, especially from last night, back into business on that. Just won't do them like every time I stream, obviously. I would at least like every other stream, I'd say, but at least, when I know for sure I have at least a good like 3 or 4 hours to just kill. For sure. Like, cause then, cause then it's just, a lot of time to kill for, well, reacting to videos and shit. Plus, it'll be a good opportunity to at least, maybe set up some stuff where there's like a little banner that goes across or something that shows like PayPal and Cash App, stuff like that, for little tip jars and shit. So a monetization thing becomes more of a possibility here. Which I'm a little under halfway there anyway, so. Which honestly, I'm kind of surprised. Like, I remember it was like a year ago where I was more at like 330 subs, but somehow I grew like over to 100 since. Some have come and gone, like since then, but like overall, it's been pretty much consistently slowly growing, which I mean, especially for small channels like this, that can't be said for most. I've actually overtaken low energy videos too, and I'm one of the guests on his show, and it's just like I'm a little surprised because like you would think he would have more subs. I honestly initially thought he had like 1,000 subs or something, but no, he has only like just about like 300 or something. I was just like, what? So like, what the hell? But that's just kind of how YouTube is, isn't it? Like, it's just kind of shitty. Where honestly, like a decade ago, it would actually be a lot more of a possibility for me to actually like grow, but significantly too, especially being in certain communities. But even with that in mind, nowadays, because of how the algorithm is, of how YouTube's system is broadly, it's just so much fucking harder even with that in mind. Because I'm pretty active in different communities and other channels, like with Phoebe's channel. I'm a mod, when she does her lives, which I think she's doing one now. So and then there's Ideology, or it used to be a mod there until that channel got taken down and then reinstated. But but now Paul does them on the Poltergeist, so I'm not a mod there. But then there's DFF with Deep Fat Fried, and so it's like I'm pretty active in these communities and shit. And people know me, but it's just like even with that, because I even ask around by like, hey, what's up, and and all that shit, be mentioned like, yeah, about Star Stream or something, blah blah blah, and they'll be like, yeah. I noticed that YouTube doesn't really recommend me your shit, so I can't really catch it whenever you happen to be blah 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 blah. I'm just like, well, motherfucker. And I noticed in the past week or so, because the YouTube system has definitely changed, where I am not doing any fucking nothing different, on my channel as for my streams, but now they're getting age restricted, and it's just like, what? Like, I'm literally not doing anything different, like outside of just like whatever topic might happen to be that day or whatever, or topics, and then that's about it. I mean, there's no reason for YouTube to be doing that, but actually, that reminds me of a video that we could watch tomorrow about it. Because Moist Critical, a day or two ago, released a video about like some of YouTube's new policies about like surveillance and trying to crack down on like what is for kids and what isn't, despite YouTube Kids being a fucking thing. They want to make the regular YouTube that instead. It's just bullshit. But and there's at least some details for sure where I'm just like, this makes total fucking sense as to why my channel's getting dinged sometimes. Because I will watch occasionally like some content about like video games and shit, and like Call of Duty and stuff, and I guarantee fucking to you, YouTube's algorithm and system thinks that's more in line with what youth watch, because chances are teenagers and like younger teens and older teens are looking that shit up way more often than adults are. And people like me who are damn near about to be 20 fucking 8 in like a month or less, than way less than that. So it's just like, huh? Like, so I mean, like now it's targeting like my channel, basically saying, oh, because of some of my search history on the platform or what I watch and whatever the fuck, despite it with my account verified with my age and shit, it still wants to treat me like I'm a fucking kid, and or at least treat it so my content gets fucked, in a way because of how they want, because my shit's age restricted adult content, but it's just like, I mean, like I already have it set not for kids. That's why they have that fucking button to say this is made for kids or not made for kids before you start a fucking stream. Comments stream with their stuff now. It's not even really a comment thing. It's just an authoritarian, like, we got to have a nanny, watch over the children because the parents obviously, can't fucking do it. At least that's their mindset with it. So now we have to have a surveillance, authoritarian nanny babysitting fucking everybody because parents don't want to do their fucking job and make sure that their children aren't looking at some wild shit on YouTube or, fucking, having an account that's circumnavigating, the algorithm with their age, shit, which honestly, that one's going to be impossible to, like, crack down on it anyway, because I did that, when I first had my channel. But once I was 18, I just, switched over my birth year, to my actual birth year and shit like that. Instead of, well, funny enough, actually my mom's birth year, 1953. So I was just like, fuck it. Ugh. So, like, that's always going to happen. But still, even despite that, you can still, as parents, watch over your fucking kids. And also just limit screen time. Like, that's a fucking major issue where parents don't want to parent and rather shove an iPad into some kid's face and let them be distracted with that instead. Like, instead of actually being fucking parents. So, yeah, like, I mean, at this rate, what do you expect with, like, especially with how social media is? And the thing is, these, platforms could be doing a legitimate job on, like, cracking down on stuff that they claim to, want to, like, protect or whatever the fuck, right? Without it impacting people like us, or the average person, or even big channels, or just the platform itself, to where it just isn't really that easily accessible because of all these fucking little weird fucking roadblocks. And that's not even to mention the fucking ads and all this other bullshit and everything else wrong with the platform. And that's just with YouTube. But I mean, to a lesser extent, that goes to other platforms, and honestly, to a more of an extent, to platforms like Twitter or X. So for me, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, if they really want to try to, like, protect the kids and do all that shit, then, like, have actual enforcement of, like, age restricted content, and also have it easier for content creators to be able to limit access to their shit, even to people who follow them. Like, it's like, hey, I make adult content sometimes, and if you follow me, but your account is not of, like, a certain age, whatever the fuck, then you don't get to see this content, but you get to see everything else. It's like, that would make sense. Or even when it comes to, like, chat censorship shit. Like, I guarantee you there's definitely plenty of times where you probably are posting a comment, whether just on a video or in a live chat, but then it just never goes through. Even though, for the most part, there's probably nothing wrong with that comment in the first place, outside of it, maybe called someone an asshole, or whatever. But, yet it will just automatically take that shit down. It's like, it's more of that authoritarian surveillance bullshit where it just doesn't need to be there. Let content creators manage their own communities, if they really feel the need to, like, censor certain things. Like, I mean, because I would have certain stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't want, like, someone just spamming the N word or any variation of it in my chat or my comments or stupid shit like that. Like, I would limit certain things, but beyond very specific things, like, it literally would just be like, what the fuck ever, I don't care. As long as it's within, reason and within, like, reasonability of, like what, like basically shit that you want to say someone's face at the bar, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, because like that's kind of how I use the philosophy with it. Like, obviously there are just no go stuff, but that's very limited, and pretty much beyond that, it's just like just be a respectable fucking human being. Even if you want to be a goof troll or whatever the fuck, just at least be somewhat of a human being, and whatever. Even if we don't like each other necessarily, I ain't gonna care. Be here all you want. But that's just not how these platforms want to treat that. And honestly, some people too, to a lesser extent, like because there are a lot of people that just definitely want their own little hug boxes, and it's like, I mean, I get having your own little spaces and shit, and safe spaces stuff. I am even an advocate for that, but social media is not that. If you have like a little community, I'm sorry, but that's not like a safe space or like a little, I mean, the closest you can get is a hug box, but even then, don't expect to be a total complete hug box. There's going to be people in your community that are not going to just, follow that shit. I mean, and there shouldn't be an expectation either. In fact, there should be an expectation of kind of the opposite. I'd rather like some people within a community at least, be somewhat challenging to, like the people that they like. I mean, if it happens to be content that's like, like politics related or maybe about like philosophy, religion, or even like stuff that probably doesn't matter as much, like mechanics stuff or like, gun content or whatever the fuck. It's like there should be like just a genuine free ability to just, like have that type of dialogue, even if it does get a little nasty sometimes. As long as it's just not crazy extreme shit, or if the content creator of their videos or streams or whatever wish to limit it to their particular proclivities, then that's on them. That's their business. Because ultimately, I mean, there's truth to knowing that like these platforms and channels like mine or these or content like this isn't free speech zones. They're not like First Amendment zones. It's like the equivalent of being in my living room or my backyard, when I do something like this. And if it's not shit that you would say to my face, in those scenarios, then chances are you ain't going to be here long, when it comes to like, like shit you would say here. But at the same time, I also like to be a cat occasionally and then play a few like a ball yarn. So I don't know. It kind of, depends on my mood, I suppose. But it's plenty of times where I just definitely don't take no bullshit. A lot of it's just because like I have an inherent, like critical mindset about authority. I mean, and if it's not done in a way to where it just at least at bare minimal, at like, or at least like at max, gives like basic safe platform for like free form expression in society, then I don't like I'm gonna be kind of challenging of it. Because like I mean like I do think there should be like an authority that it's like, hey, if your expression, your and your like speech and all that is pretty much inherently against those of others, yeah, you're don't expect your shit to be defended, you know what I mean? Especially when it comes to like these Nazis, or even for me honestly, as much as not like brought up as much, but even when it comes to fucking Zionists or like just broader far right, etc., like there are definitely people out there where I'm just like, nah. If anything, it's just like, don't be surprised if one day you get curb stomped, especially if you start talking that shit out in public. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, at a certain point, especially when it comes to like, certain expression, it's like, it comes back to the whole idea of like, the argument of like, how far does tolerance go? And it's like, up until intolerance, as far as I care, because you shouldn't be intolerant of intolerance. Because it's a paradox, where you eventually like, lose the society that is tolerant when you do have tolerance to intolerance. That's the paradox of it. I mean, you can't be tolerant of intolerance when it's going to eventually revoke the tolerant, elements of society with their intolerance, replace it. Like, you can't just let there be like a free, roam of that type of influence. I mean, because look where we're at now. I mean, if there was a lot more of a crackdown, on top of at least, actual like, solutions to different problems that, people have, there wouldn't be, we wouldn't be in this situation. We wouldn't definitely be in this problem. It's also kind of some part why I'm, kind of, like an advocate for like another reconstruction, because that shit got stopped and stymied, and frankly, we need to start it back up, despite how late it's been since we've, committed to it. Thanks, Andrew Johnson, you piece of shit. Ugh, God, Jesus fuck. Oh, that cleared the pores out at least. Like I said, it's probably going to be a reoccurring occurrence. Oh, got the lie booger. Why are you trying to kick me, little fool? Oh, you want some belly pats? Goofy dog. What a goofy boy. I kind of like how chat just kind of like died out. Went on my little thing. Everyone's just like, I should listen to Ponder. Posted that. Don't worry about it. I was kind of figured Tony would still be in here or something. Because I would be kind of curious, what you have to say about, like, YouTube being a communist regime with their stuff now. It's like, they're... I mean, I wonder, like, where this whole idea, like, surveillance state equals communism thing comes from. Obviously, it's like, the inherent idea that they're just, authoritarian by nature and shit, but it's just like fascist regimes and far right regimes are basically the same fucking thing, though. Like, the whole surveillance and anti-state bullshit, isn't exclusive to communism. And honestly, like, I mean, say what you want, the fact that there were definitely some elements of authoritarianism and censorship, like, communist societies, like, at least the Warsaw Pact era, weren't as, like, prevalent with that, but they definitely had their, like, surveillance state and, watching, surveilling people. But the West was doing the exact same fucking shit then, too. Especially the United States. So, I mean, if we're going to start bitching about, like, communist regimes doing this shit, then, might as well start looking at our own fucking back door, I mean, because any state that does surveillance like that is not going to be a state I support. Or at least, that particular, element of the state. Do you think Spino is an evil Peyton or person formerly known as, I guess, stupidity? Well, yeah, stupidity for sure. But for Spino, yeah, I guess. I don't know, Spino's just his own entity, dude. Like, because he was always just like a dude who was like a lib, but he just got more libbed up, and now he's like a Christian lib, and it's just like, oh god. So I don't know. He's like a gay, kind of born again Mormon, I think. I don't fucking know. Like, lib. He's at least a born again Christian for sure, but at least, I don't know, dude. He's just a weirdo. And he drove off the squirrel, dude. The little gay chipmunk squirrel guy, Cody, or whatever his name was, Cody something. Like, he literally ran him away because he kept sexually harassing him in the chat. I kept calling Spino out, being like, "Quit doing that, you fucking creep," And if I had mod powers, I'd just ban you right now. I'd be done with it, because Cody was literally being like, "Is there any mods who are going to do something about this?" And I was like, "If I was, I would be, before this shit even began, bro." Because like Spinal kept being like, "Ooh, you're cute," blah blah blah, and all this shit. I mean, and like at first, I do remember this. I do remember like the first 1 or 2 times it happened. Even the guys noticed it, and Cody kind of played it off as being kind of a funny meme. But after like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth plus different times it kept happening, he kept getting more creeped out and legitimately like harassed. And it's just like, bro, like, I mean, that's why I say like Spino's kind of a fucking creep, dude. On top of just being like a weird born again Christian gay lib. Because he is kind of, dog. I mean, after that, like, it's just one of those things where, you can forgive but not forget kind of things, at least if they owned up to it. But I don't think they did. So it's definitely one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, I ain't forgiving you, and I'm sure shit ain't forgetting it. Because it's kind of shitty, because Cody's kind of cool in chat. But kind of ran him off, and honestly, at least as far as I could tell, I haven't seen the dude since. I'm sure they lurk and they're watching quietly, the show, but just aren't active anymore in the chat and the community. So it's kind of shitty that, there are definitely kind of people like that. And that's kind of goes back to that conversation of like where, there is like a sense of community policing that should be kind of prevalent, at least a little bit. At least because you gotta, make sure shit like that don't fly, Like, if you want to let it fly in public, if you're, like, at, a bar, like your local dive bar, going there every weekend kind of thing, and you saw some shit like that going on, like, you wouldn't, it'd be the same kind of thing. So, and especially when they don't come back after something like that, or if they do, they're just kind of quiet in the corner, not really, as active as they used to in the community. It's shitty. It sucks. Because, like, one motherfucker had to just, like, ruin it for another guy, especially when they're still, like, somewhat allowed within the community, despite at least Spino being a punching bag, in the community at this point, which I don't mind, because I treat him like that every time I see him, popping his dumb fuck mouth. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess, like, maybe I'm being a little super harsh, at least the political side of him, because, like, there are times where he's, like, not wrong, or, like, on the right side of things, or even has, like, a wild take where I'm like, okay, base, and I kind of agree, like, some weird futurist shit or something, like, it's not like he's, like, an utter total dumb fuck, but because of how much of a lib he is, he's more of a dumb fuck than not, and it's just like, bro, you're way smarter than this, especially when you used to be an atheist and now you're not. It's like, are you just, like, purposely dumbing yourself down or something, or what? Like, what? It's like, come on, bro. It's like, I know you're smarter than how you actually perceive yourself. Or at least how you are. And honestly, I mean, this just has him online. Like, who knows if he actually is that, in person. For all we know, maybe he is still an atheist, gay, but, maybe still live, but nowhere near to the degree that we perceive him as, because he kind of likes, the trolling. He likes the back and forth, but I don't fucking know. You know what? I think it'd actually be kind of interesting to have a back and forth talk with him. A dual stream over here, and maybe see if Phoebe and a few others can maybe kind of like, pop it up a little, push it out. I don't know. That actually probably wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. Because I kind of want to, like, really gauge this motherfucker a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, the attempt wasn't fake, Spino. Dude, and for me, like, what I'm saying ain't kayfabe or fake either. Like, I actually do kind of, like, mean it, and actually kind of want to see if he's wanting to do that. It'd be on my channel, and it'll just be us two. And the only thing he would have to deal with is the fact that I might have a beer or two and some weed. You're arguing with physics at this point. Well, maybe it will be all infertility, but you know what? I'm still okay with it. Because, you know what? I would literally tell him, it's like, hey, I'm not even trying to debate you or nothing. And honestly, I know you and I have clashed in the chat, and stuff. But actually, like, on a stream, thought about this. And I was like, you know what? I really want to gauge who the fuck you are. And, you know, and maybe, you know, I could be persuaded to see you as actually kind of a cool dude. But I do have questions and I have some stuff about that, blah, blah, blah. You know, let's talk about the Trump thing. Oh, with the assassination. Oh my God, that's going to be such strong contention, bro. Because, look, also, I hate to bring it up, but honestly, when it comes to shit like this, you kind of need to. And look, I'm not like an expert or a professional when it comes to guns, but I know my shit. I know my shit when it comes to guns and how to operate them and how bullet trajectory and shit like that works. I know how that fucking shit works. I like guns. I am a nerd about them. I know them. And when it comes to like that day, it's fucking impossible to fake it. It just is. Literally, the virtue of him slightly moving his head is what saved his dome from looking like a crater with a weird, mushy, pink, bloody goop in the center of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, dog, you can't fake that. I mean, you just literally can't. The butthole incident of Quiet Costs. Spino ain't gonna go that far with it. Spino might say dumb shit, but look, I've touched too much grass, to know what's bullshit and what ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've also touched enough internet grass to know what's bullshit and what ain't. I've touched enough of both to get it. Like, it's going to be really hard for this guy, I think, to ultimately like crack me or like try to get me with something, because I'll just be like, dog, I mean, I've been around the block enough, especially on the internet and with enough people in my own life to, politically, when it comes to conversations, to just know what's just horse shit and what ain't and how to deal with it and navigate it. It's like, come on, dog. I mean, and especially with someone like him, it's not going to be hard. I feel like it would be kind of like an Alchemist Soil / Paul kind of thing. I'm not even joking. Just without Phoebe being a moderator who's also biased for Paul or whatever. Like, so I honestly think that, just with us two, because I will call out that Cody shit, like Cody Wiseman or whatever. I forgot his exact name, but like, like running him out of the community because you were kind of sexually perving and harassing him for like over like 3 or 4 or 5 different shows in a span of like 2+ weeks, including in like different discords too. And that's just from what I've heard from the grapevine and from what I've seen in the live chat with Cody said. Like, I don't forget shit like that. It's like, I mean, because I will even mention, it's like, the whole term of like forgive but don't forget. Well, in this case, I don't forgive and I ain't gonna fucking forget unless you actually have a genuine fucking answer, at least owned up that you were wrong and fucked up. 1 to 2. There literally won't be any other way for the forgiveness part to pop out, but there sure shit won't be a forgetting. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, you gotta kind of like, just kind of be tough, People think God protected Trump, but that's just politicians so incompetent they even fail at dying. Yeah. But also, I mean, I just think that Trump just literally had like some of that wild, just the stars aligned fucking moment for him, honestly. Like, I hate to say it, but I just think that's what happened. I don't think it had to do with God or whatever the fuck. It was just, he literally looked at a chart and literally half a second after he turned his head, that kid fucking fired a shot expecting to hit the back of his dome. Or at least like somewhere like temple back center mass area. Like, he was aiming for his head. And he turned like this and it grazed his fucking ear because he went from this to this. He leaned forward when he turned. Like, so when that happened, it grazed. Like, it would have been a fucking center temple shot from that far away from where he was positioned and from prone with a sight, and with an optic and shit. Like, it was, and considering how he grazed an ear, that is a 1 of a million shot. You just don't, you literally can't fake that. You just can't. I mean, you can literally see a photo of the bullet before it hits Trump. There's a few photos because journalists happen to be taking a bunch of photos at the time, and you can literally see the photo mid shot, like going through the fucking air, like before it hits him. And even afterwards, too. It's just like, it's actually fucking insane. Like, if he was ever so slightly to the right with his angle, just ever so slightly, like a millimeter or two, Trump would be gone, dude. Even if he did turn his head. I mean, because then it probably would have been an eye shot, and then the back of his dome would have been blown up. But that's not what happened. Because the way he was aiming for him, at least, when he was standing at the podium, he leaned in and turned, and that's when that happened. You just, again, you can't fake that. And any lib that thinks that is just fake is just a fucking idiot. Just straight up. And they're delusional. And the thing is, he knew after what happens, like, he knew the media, like, power that it would have, especially from the racist fists all bloodied up and shit, while security service are still trying to escort him and make this big dome of bodies around him. Like, it's like, and he defiantly, like, got out of that dome and raised that fist. Like, that day will live in fucking infamy, bro. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where you just can't fucking fake. I swear it's real. Yeah, if it was like an obvious staged attempt, yeah, honestly, I hate to say it, I do think people like Spino would say that it actually happened. And I'd be like, no, it didn't. If it's obviously staged. But the thing is, attacks on politicians aren't usually staged. There's definitely some questions for certain incidents, like JFK, But, like for like 99% of like assassination attempts on politicians, they are very much fucking real. I mean, shit, even Teddy Roosevelt survived an assassination attempt during an inauguration speech, got shot in the lung, fucking made a joke about how he should have had better aim, finished his speech, and then got medical treatment afterwards. I mean, it's just like, there are definitely some motherfuckers, that have had attempts on their life and just kind of do their own fucking thing. They're like, I should take advantage of this actually and show how strong I am or something. But frankly, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if, like, there was kind of a subconscious, like, thought of, like, think of what Teddy did. Because, I mean, he's got at least some basic general knowledge about some presidents and stuff, I'd imagine, just because he is a president. So I'm sure he's probably gotten basic knowledge of some presidents and shit. I mean, because that Teddy assassination attempt is a pretty famous thing that happened to him. So I imagine that it would be something that was told to him. So he subconsciously, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought about that and just went like, nah, I'm going to be defiant and fuck this guy and his bullet. Again, you just can't fake that or stage it. All right, I'm all caught up. Ooh, that felt good. Ooh. At least it's just cold bullshit. At least I don't have a shortness of breath or nothing. It's literally all just like here, just body soreness, mini headache, and then the sniffle shit. So thank fuck, I guess, because that means it ain't COVID. So, because if it was, this shit would definitely be fucked. But it ain't. It's, all my shit is like all up in there, and all just right here. So, whatever it is, it was definitely like some sort of like a cold throat flu thing, and it just sucks. Especially for my homie, I'm definitely going to get like a little rag or like a little paper towel with some alcohol rubbing and rub this bitch down for him and be like, I don't need you having like a weird thing either, dude. I mean, I feel like by tomorrow I'll mostly be gone and I'll be fine, but just today it just earlier in the first half of the day it was fucking hitting me bad. But at least this last little half it's not been bad. I'm did a couple chores, clean up around a little bit, you know, all that. Made sure that they were watered and fed. Made sure that I was fed and hydrated and stuff, and better, but still not out of the woods. Ugh. Sending a Discord message because YouTube can sit on a fucking butcher blade. This is what I mean about YouTube. Going back to that topic earlier about their nanny state garbage. Like, if I wanted to censor something in your fucking message, I would, have a little setup where I can do that, on my channel and shit in the settings. Because, back in the day, it used to be that way. And now YouTube wants to do it for us and thinks we can't do it or something. It's just fucking stupid, dude. Anyway, if the dude aimed at the nuts, here's what would happen. An almond-shaped mouth would open within it. Teeth like needles catch the bullet from it. A barbed tongue shoots out and impales the shooter for the chest. All this is stricken from the record. Whoa. Whoa, bro. 3 deep, 5 me, dude. Holy shit. So you're saying that all that live news footage was actually generated AI? Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Yes. Damn, bro. Holy shit. Spinal's right all along, but gaslighting people is fun. Oh, yeah, dude, honestly, remind me of that. Actually, if this ever happens, you should come in there immediately being like, I found breaking news. And honestly, see if you could find, like, some generative AI shit, or it's like, take the footage of that, give it, of that day, of the attempted Trump assassination, and then go to an AR prompt and basically give it that prompt, but you're going to probably say from his neck instead of the nuts. You're going to have to probably specify for the AI because it's not going to know. But at least, specify, a little something, something. And then it could at least do that, and then we can link it. And I could send it to Spino and be like, just watch that. And we just found the uncut footage. We should actually play into it, dude. I'm being serious. Like, see if, see if you can find a decent, like, video AI prompt software or something, and then fucking, see if you can get it nailed down just enough to where it at least looks aight, and then let's send it to him. Of course, if this ends up happening, I'll see if I can get it confirmed. I don't know who to really honestly reach out to when it comes to this, outside of just seeing Spinos in the chat directly and then just giving him my Discord. I think Phoebe might, because I think Spino is sometimes in Phoebe's chat, if I remember. So I could probably do that. Was he banned? In DFF. But at least on, like, Discord, Salt Rackets and shit, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but he can get me personally on Discord. So he could at least do that. So, yeah, figure it out, I guess. Feed beater, jazzy wazzy. Oh, look at those little tails. So cute. Jazzy, huh? Jazzy. Oh, man. It's going to be hard not to use my mop hours. Well, they're going to literally be in, like, it will be a dual live. Like, so they'll be here, too, with me chatting. Talking back and forth. Like, it wouldn't be in the chat. So your mod powers wouldn't do shit, unfortunately. Did you show your boobs yet or what? I'm a dude. Like I have moobs, and even then, it's just a dude chest. Even if I was like a trans woman, I wouldn't have any to show, and even then, I wouldn't show them anyway because it's like protect them. Until I want to free the nip, or something like that, for those type of protests or something. I will admit, I definitely would make a hot ass, trans woman though. I will admit that. I mean, I already kind of got like, a little bit of a charm, you know what I'm saying? I already got like the build. Like I'm already kind of like, I already have like the slightest of curves. Like I kind of have the femboy twink bod right now. I wanted to be a little like trunk body instead, like twink, but like a little thick twunk. They're called like twunks. Why I don't fucking know, but or just like muscle twinks, basically. That's another variation of it, like twunks. So your only hope he can't unless he did the traditional parentheses dot, the period capital Y period and then parentheses. I know boobs either. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're just a sausage fest over here, my friend. I'll show mine. Well, I don't know how you'll be able to do that here. And I don't think you would either. I don't think you have any. You got two nips on one boob. Why is one of them small but with two nips and the other one is big and saggy with a nip? You might want to go to a surgeon and get that fixed there, my friend. That's a little it's a little whack. It's a little wild. I don't judge your jugs. Well, I don't have any. I have no jugs to judge. Don't nipple shame ignore. I'm just saying, like, I mean, hey, might just got to get him a little evened out, Get that like a second nip on the other one, and put some of that breast fat in the other one, and let them be all evened out. And now you got like two right here, but they're all even. Know what I'm saying? Just gotta add one, have a little past surgery or something like that, or get a donor nip. I don't fucking know, and then and then and then just get some of the fat from one breast into the other one, and now they're even out. Even out to 4 total. Oh my god. Damn. Got a little 20% notification on battery. Plug it in, kind of keep it going a little bit. There we go. How do you add one? Nipple donor? Yeah. I mean, there's bound to be, people out there and women and shit that are like, hey, I need like, like a breast removal surgery because of breast cancer or something. And, hey, maybe they don't give a fuck about the nip being gone either. Maybe they literally just want to be smooth, entirely besides just one breast. And they just want like a smooth chunk of their body. Mad scientist who has multiple jars of nipples. Oh my god. That would be kind of fucking nuts. Or like a serial killer. Jizzle! What are you doing over there? You little poof. Oh my goodness. Lazy bean. This lazy little thing. You just got such a tiny little hand. And a tiny little Mitchell. The doctor that has four skins in a jar to be obviously that's the man we gotta stop. Not the nipple man. Well, I think that'll have to be your mission, not mine. I don't really have much of an interest to go try to grab those. I've grown up all my life without it. I think I can manage without it. Not, I mean, not that wouldn't be nice if it was still there or whatever, but yeah, I can at least grant this. It wasn't my parents' fault. The doctor just kind of did it, just because it was like just typical routine, and my parents were just like, "What? You didn't console us first?" I think they were gonna, do it anyway, but they want to at least be informed and consoled and stuff, but they just weren't. And I was like, "Well, damn." It's in a jar, and Doc shakes it around jar to let it watching them all move around like weird little worms. 100 goats versus 100 sheep go. 100 goats. Dude, they got the horns and shit. Easy. If it's not the jar, then it's made into makeup. What? The sheep are fluffy. I mean, they have wool. Wait, so what's the criteria here? 100 goats versus 100 sheep? Like, wait, are we fighting them? Or are they fighting each other? Like, what's happening here? Don't mind me, I'm just leaning back, snuggling this dog. This little jazzy wazzy. By Dr. Fatigue. Well, I would still say it would be the goats. I mean, they got the horns and they're good at headbutting and shit. Like, dude, like I don't think the sheep are gonna stand much of a chance. It's fucking bad. Supposed to partake in my WSBN series over on Shotbox Archives, part 11 tomorrow. They're working on part 12. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna move that fan a little bit. Get my damn lighter extinguisher's not cool. Little jazzy chunk. You're such a lazy little thing. And a foreskin prosthetic, maybe? No. Why is that on your mind? What? Just apropos of nothing out of nowhere. Okay, then. Trying to start a business. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be your first customer on that one there, bud. Oh my goodness, feet help. Anyone plus 50 defense and defense out of gate. So she, damn. You boobies and went after that too. What? Ay. Let's have a little jazz and snuggle. Let's go sheep hybrid. Rare, but happens. Oh, Geeps. Oh, damn. Or Shotes. Well, damn. Little jazzy chunk. Little drum ball chunk. Yeah. She don't have a care. She's like, all right, I guess I'm here. Me. Aw. You lazy little bean. Aw. Groggy shrunk donkey. They would tell me. Oh, little Zazzle. What's this? For like $10 down. Why do I feel like there's a lot of sketchy backroom, like organ trafficking shit involved with this? Hence why he got like such a weird low rate. Are you working with the cartel? You tired, little bean? Oh. Pretty damn hungover. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but last night I noticed I was catching something, and dude, all fucking day today, I've been just trying to like get better. I definitely have like some weird like throat cold fucking thing all fucking day today, dude. It's been rough for me in just a whole different way. I mean, I've had some food, hydrated, and so like I'm better now, but I'm still just kind of like, ugh. I'm still just nowhere near even really like 75%. I'm like at like 55 or 60. It's like, ugh. I'm just kind of doing this, so let's just do something instead of just sitting, I guess, because fuck. At least doing some other stuff. In the meantime, in between everything, when it happened, okay. But it's like, I don't really have much else to do now, and I'm just like, well, do this, I guess. Luckily, it's not even really like a long thing or anything else, but it's still just shitty. Severely surgery seen in the first Keaton panic. Which should process or 3D print. Cod fat. Because the fat from a fish is definitely going to be a good idea. I feel like there won't be any negative health ramifications from that at all. If everyone has a BBL, it means nothing. Exactly. You got to have people that aren't to really appreciate the BBLs, bro. Beep, beep, beep. Logan. Oh no. Don't fall for it. It won't be good. Yeah, it probably needs it. I'll do it after this. Finish up a few other things started up and stuff. Wasn't gonna be something that I was doing forever. In fact, honestly, what time was it anyway? Surprisingly not as late as I thought. Damn, I haven't even really been streaming that long. Seriously, what the fuck? I thought I'd been going on for longer than an hour. Catch soon. Oh my god. Oh boy. Where's he even getting this from? I don't fucking know, man. I'm not in no damn mindset to try to figure it the fuck out, to be honest. 3D printed Ruby over this. Why? No. No. Why would they? That just don't. No. Oh my god. I don't even think that's even a real thing. You know what? Is there like? Does this have battery on it still? No, don't. Fuck. What about this one? Or do both of them? Yep. No. Fuck. Well, I don't want to wait for it, so I'm just like, God damn it. Or else I just look it up, but I guarantee you it's not like a thing. D5 foreskins. Oh my dude, what the? Oh my god. Damn market stuff today. You might have to go see. You might need to find others to sell this too, because I think we're Gucci. So to like Jewish people who became atheists or something. I don't know. Or like former Christians or something. I don't know. I mean, there's probably ways where you can like pitch it to some people. Guy got dream shut down. You're probably just not looking at the right market. That's all. Ooh, that felt good. You little ball. You sleepy little ball. Vito, what are you doing? Vito. What are you getting into? You goofy boy. You're just whacking a big old tail that is just secretly a fluffy baton. It's like a little alligator tail with all that muscle just smacking on everything. Oh god, here we go. Now he's coming over here. You big stretch boy. You stretch bean. Up. Come on, bud. Alright. Hey, bud. Reader, beer, potato. My goodness, big poof. Oh, you big foofball. Just got such a fluffy mane. Goofy dog. For the people in Space Force? So why specifically them? What? I don't even want. Oh my. I look back over and that's what I. What? This fucking space. Why the? You know, I don't care. Fuck it. Why? Just why them, bro? Like what? Why do I feel like I might regret this answer? When they shrink in space, and I don't even think they would be effective. Zero gravity, bro. I don't even... Their biggest buyer, don't you know? No, biggest buyer, don't you know? Oh, my lord. Sure they are. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Foreskin breaks off and then just starts floating towards you. Oh, my God. What is this anymore? What did this even become? Kim has one to get 3 a week. What? I can't tell if I'm not drunk high enough for this or if I'm like too high for this at least. Because I definitely ain't drunk enough for this. Ay. Dios mío. Got to have products all around the work. Brack as. Please tell me I'm not the only one confused. And Hillary. Oh, you mean Barack? Oh my god. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure. And for how cheap it is, I'm sure that yeah, I guarantee you they're the most trusted and most top customers. Oh god, this fucking bro. Ugh. Ugh. You sleepy bean. Damn, Beto. What are you just looking down? Make so much noise. Damn, bro. Goofy floof. You just haven't taken enough acid. I would like to have some, honestly. I won't even admit it. Maybe not right now, but for future, for the future. Don't get sick if you had. What you're saying. I don't think that is why I'm not feeling well right now. Just putting that out there. Sure, it has to do with something, because somebody was a little sickly or some shit from like, the bus or whatever the fuck, and yeah, for the spinal thing. Oh my god, that would be a bad trip. I don't even nope. That's the last situation I want to be high on acid with. All right, that'll just be crossfade. Goofy Vita beater, goofy boy. just look like such an old little man. Such a gentleman little man. You're just a crazy boy. Big old floofy little baton tail. Every time I talk to him, he just goes, little beedle. Goofy boy. Here's why Biden was perfect. All you see is just a hissing nest of snakes attached to Mr. Clean's head. Oh my god. Like some Medusa ass shit. Oh, that would be terrifying. That legit would be. That's right. Yeah. Clean pipes all. Ugh. Tom Cruise loves him. Tom Curse. Tom Curse. And yeah, if Scientologists love it, very much a trusted product. Oh, 100%. Especially when Tom Curse. When Tom Curse loves him, dude. Where you going, Beetle? What's up, poo poof? Oh. You floofy little boy. Aw. You judge that little boy. Yeah, both of them are really good. They're both not like super energetic, but they are both like, oh. They're all both looking at me like, Me. Aw. Sweet little dogs. Sweet little boy. Sweet little girl. Aw. You just take your sweet little time, Jazzy. Unlike Vito, he just vacuums it up. You took your time to savor that treat. Because you know it's a good treat, because you're a good girl. Just sauce fest. A feast? A sausage feast? Wow. I will say, there is a thing called Grammarly. We might need a little bit of that. What the fuck, dude? Ay, ay, ay. Dios mío. And I just don't. You know, some trolling, I will admit, I just don't understand. Set for life. I'm sure. No grammar. Well, especially when it comes to professional business ventures, probably would be necessary, right? Sometimes I think Paul's a bit harsh for his grammar stuff, but then it's like, nah. When you realize like some of it, I'm just like, oh my god. Yeah, sometimes you just kind of need a reminder. You sweet boy. You sweet little girl. I'll show a boob. Well, I would love for you to see that in the Poltergeist when he does the streams. I'm sure that'll go really well. But fucking flies. Yeah. You want to get? Oh my god. I was kind of debating in my mind to be like, he'll probably take one more little Toki Pokey or whatever, then call it good, and then but that would just have depend on how the chat looked. I'm just like, well, no, that's happening now. Besides, I think little cough drop or something like that. Maybe even like warm shower might help out. Maybe that might help. How's the weather out there? Muggy and humid. And because it's summer, it's also hot. Oh, these sleepy bunnies. Sleepy little puppies. They look so cute. Whoop. Come on. Pop. If I knew it was going to be Shorty Muggy, only if you. Oh my god. Fucking. Yeah. Why am I not surprised? Can't be shocked on that one. Thought it was going to be like, it's raining foreskins over here. God damn. Oh man, god damn. It's just I know how to sell them. I'm sure. Even little Vito's just like kind of plopping, just like, meh. Damn. Little Vito. There we go. Bada bean and a bada boom. Apparently, being held hostage, if fast foreskins are not sold, they will never see the sun again. Hank Hill saying it's rain foreskins is great. I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. And it can't hill like at all. But yeah, I feel like this is like a weird hostage situation where he needs to try to find a way to sell a bunch of foreskins and he just can't. And if he doesn't do it within a span of like 48 hours, then he's gonna fucking have his whole family just murked, and then he will be murked after. Sir Manager Poppers. Oh my god. Well, the hot situation you're in is unfortunately not my problem. So, if you end up being slaughtered by the cartel, not being able to sell fast foreskins or something like that, they, unfortunately, can't do nothing about that. Is this just gonna turn into a bunch of pop culture references except for foreskin? Yeah, pretty much. Basically. daughter, FYI. No. I don't, never, oh my god. Hi, dude. It's me, yeah, it needs to meet a few in this case. I just want to, yeah, none of us do. If anything, probably grab a little bit more food, something like that, a little cough drop, and at least until Owen gets back, rest up a little bit or something like that, because I'm just like, yeah. This turned into a bunch of debauchery. But hey, yeah, wasn't a shorty or nothing. Yeah, decent little lengthy one, so, but hey. We'll do another little Streamlabs react for tomorrow and stuff like that. At least special, hopefully, if I feel better. So, at least, for all intents and purposes, peace out for now, and toodaloo.